Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Alex Rood Show. I am Alex Rood, and like always, I'll be your host for tonight. Tonight's topic of discussion will be the growth of the suburbs and suburban life. As some of you may know, President Eisenhower passed the Interstate Highway Act of 1953 with the intention of being able to move the army across the country in case of a Soviet invasion. But an unexpected result of this act was the beginning of suburban sprawl, as people were beginning to flock to towns forming outside of the cities, the suburbs. We have a great show here for you tonight, as we will be joined by an expert on suburban life, Zach Cohen, and also a proud resident of Levittown, one of the first suburbs in America, Jillian Dooley. So let's get started. Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest for tonight is suburban life expert, Zach Cohen. Thank you for joining us, Zach. It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Zach, what aspects of a normal American life have changed since the end of World War II?
Well, after World War II, people are starting to move out of the cities and move into suburbs because of the Interstate Highway Act of 1953 that allowed for easier access to bigger areas, which created the suburbs. The suburbs costed less money than the city, and they were a lot less crowded. And because the suburbs also led to like a mass age of conformity among the people.
So you said there was a lot of conformity. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, people are starting to. No one's really going out the status quo. People are conforming, wearing the same types of clothes, listening to the same type of music, watching the same type of TV, and like at the Levittowns that your next guest will be talking about, I believe.
Yes.
Well, the towns, the houses look the same, and no one really changed the look drastically. Everyone mowed their lawn. No one kept clotheslines out at a certain point in time. Stuff like that.
So with these changing lifestyles, is there any like changes in the way Americans like relax or enjoy themselves?
Yes, there is. Because of the big suburban lifestyle, the newer suburban lifestyle, there's more room. With more room, kids are allowed to stay out later, feel safer than in cities, and also because of that, they'll play outside, play basketball, baseball, football, pick up games. Also, toys were starting to gain big momentum. With Mr. Potato Head allowed kids to have a more active imagination, being able to stick pieces where they wanted. The Frisbee allowed kids to play an alternative throwing game outside. Also, hula hoops allowed kids to have fun, just twisting their waist. More so to say.
Oh, so that's pretty cool, Zach, but you've been a great guest, but we're out of time. Thank you for coming. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Hopefully you can come back sometime. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
And stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, as we'll be joined by Jillian Dooley when we come back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Our next guest is proud Levittownian, Jillian Dooley. Thank you for coming, Jillian.
Pleasure.
What is Levittown?
Levittown is the most perfect place to live on earth. It's a suburb, so it's outside of the city, so there's a lot more room to move around with and raise a family. And the houses are all the same, so you don't have to worry about having to be better than your neighbors, except of course we totally are. And you can't have your clotheslines out on weekends, and you have to mow your lawn every week. And it's really nice because there aren't any of those annoying black people.
Oh,
and there's just beautiful.
It's my show. Why did you move to Levittown?
I moved to Levittown because I wanted more space for me and my family, and my husband got a job transfer. So it was still one of the best decisions I ever made.
Okay. Are you guys in Levittown affected by the typical Cold War fears felt by Americans?
Oh, of course, those nasty, nasty communists. Yeah. We are a very proud anti-communist community. If anyone is suspected of being a communist in any way, they're pretty much kicked out of the community.
Okay. Up next is a segment we call Defend Your Statement, where I take something that you've said and gone on record and say, and you must defend it. Jillian, defend your statement. You once said, and I quote, that white flight is one of the greatest things that happened to our country. Explain this.
Well, when all those black people people started moving to the city, well, it just didn't seem safe anymore for me and my children and my family and my friends. So we decided to, besides the job transfer, it was another reason we decided to move to Levittown. I mean, there are no blacks allowed, even after the anti-segregation law was passed. So it's a nice place to be. It's really good.
So you were one of the white people that left the city for the suburbs when black people came.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Sorry to cut you off, but we are a little bit short on time. Thank you for coming here. It's been a pleasure. So when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap up the show. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. Have a good one. As always, this is Alex Rude signing off.